Namaskar to everyone, and happy to see you all again this week at this live stream for questions and answers. So my name is Dejan, and I'm here on behalf of SSRF. I've been doing spiritual practice for 24 years, and as part of my spiritual service, I'm doing these live streams. So today we will have a session where you can ask anything that you wish, any obstacles, any questions, anything like that. So feel free to ask at any time, and I will look at the comments and reply. Just to give a short introduction, that SSRF is a non-profit organization that was established in 2006, and it has a website with over 8,000 articles in 24 languages, all translated by our volunteers. We are an all-volunteer organization, so everyone who does some work for the organization does it as part of their spiritual practice and their spiritual service. These articles we publish and all the activities we have, including on YouTube, on social media, to educate humanity about the spiritual dimension and how it impacts our lives. And we do this research in cooperation with Maharshi University of Spirituality in India. And Maharshi University of Spirituality is a unique university which presents this research also in scientific conferences around the world. So SSRF also is guiding spiritual seekers, those who want to grow spiritually on their spiritual journey. So that is a short introduction. Usually when we start the session, we start with chanting. Chanting is a practice to repeat the divine name in our mind, and it helps us to imbibe positive energy and get healing and protection. So we will play one chant, which is a universal chant. It's called Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and it helps us to go into a state of relaxation, calmness, meditation, with no thoughts. So we will now play this chant, and you can listen to it and repeat it in your mind. It will be 2-3 minutes. And then we will continue with the question and answer session. Okay.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय 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 ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय.
Okay, how is everyone feeling? You can share in the chat if you felt anything, had any experiences from this chant. And it'll be nice to know also who is here, from which country. I'm sure we have people from different countries. But you can also share any questions that you may have in the chat, either on Facebook or YouTube. I'm not able to see, one moment. Ah, yes. Okay, so Efin. Namaskar Efin, nice to see you. So, Efin, you share that to do spiritual practice, you often chant listening to the audio because you try to chant in the mind and not able to focus. So is it wrong to do like that? So no, it is not wrong. It is actually good that this is why we have the chants on the website, that you can listen to it and it helps you to concentrate. So it is good that you're trying to persevere despite the obstacles. So, and this is something that many people experience. I don't know how many of you have tried to do meditation or any kind of practice like that. To concentrate the mind is sometimes more difficult. So there are different reasons for it. One reason is due to the impact of negativity in the environment. So nowadays there is more negativity that is impacting us. So because of that, we may have more thoughts. And the other reason is that we have many impressions in the subconscious mind, and then all those thoughts come into the conscious mind. So there are some tips how to increase concentration during chanting. One thing is what you suggested, that we can listen to the chant. And but it's important to repeat, just listening is not spiritual practice. It will help us to get some positivity. It will help, if you play the chant in the house, it will help to purify the environment. But to get full benefit, it is mainly to chant ourselves. We have to repeat the name. And another thing that you can do, if you're not able to concentrate in your mind, then you can repeat it out loud, or you can repeat by just moving the lips. So it is just like this, like very low voice, and that can help. And sometimes we can change the rhythm of the chant. We can chant faster, we can chant slower, depending on each person, or depending how we feel also. Sometimes for some people it's easier to chant fast, and for others it is easier to chant in a slower way. And also it is good to connect the chanting with the breath, if it's possible. So, for example, if we do the chant of Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, then on inhalation we can do Om Namo, and exhalation Bhagavate Vasudevaya, or Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So you can try and see how it feels by doing all these different ways, different methods to get more chanting. And you can share with us later if it helped. Okay, next question is from Rachel. Nice to see you, Rachel. How do you know if you're on the right path? I think this is something that many spiritual seekers around the world feel on all paths. Am I on the right path? Yeah? So it's a common thing. And one thing that can help us is to see what experiences we are having and what changes we are getting. So if we are experiencing more positivity, more calmness, more connection to the divine, more change, then we are on the right path. But before deciding like that, we will have to also make sure that we follow the guidance that is given and to implement the practice which is given to us. So we cannot, let's say we want to see if I'm getting experiences, yeah? So we're told to do practice of chanting, and we do chanting 5 minutes a day, and then we say, I'm not getting any experiences. So maybe this path is not correct, but it is more that we have to do more. So 5 minutes would not be enough. So we should increase to do like 30 minutes, 45 minutes daily, and then see if we get some experiences. So, and also it's important to know what to do. So which chant we're doing. Sometimes people choose a chant on their own, like any kind of name, but they may not get the full benefit as compared to getting the chant which is recommended by someone who is more spiritually, let's say, experienced or spiritually ahead, who will know what is more proper for us. So I hope this helps, Rachel. We will look at the next question. So Liu Jiazheng, you said, I miss my guru and I want to visit him. Whenever I plan to go, there are worldly obstacles, which creates problems if I go. Should I just go regardless, or should I address the obstacle? And a seeker was saying, if we are attached to God in principle instead of as a person, we won't feel lonely. But I don't know how to be attached to the principle form. I don't know how to experience it. So here there are two questions, Jiazheng. So the first one is about the worldly obstacles. I don't know what is the situation, what are the exact obstacles you are sharing, you are experiencing. But we can try. We can try to continue with our efforts at practical level also, like to see how we can overcome those obstacles, whether it is financial or organizational, whether it is visas or family obligations, and we can see how to, at practical level, overcome it. At spiritual level, we can pray that, please, if there are any obstacles caused by negative energies, please let these obstacles be removed. I really would like to go, and please, you only help me to be able to go and visit and continue with my spiritual practice. About about being attached to God in principle instead of as a person, here what helps is when we say in principle, sometimes it can be like an unmanifest principle, invisible. Some people connect to that form, but that is more difficult. So usually if we have some form, if we can connect to that form in our mind, so then it will help. So in my case, I used to go to India once a year initially. Since 8 years ago, I was doing full-time spiritual practice, so I even lived in India 4 years. And I stayed in ashram. And I was meeting saints and spiritually evolved. But before that, I lived abroad. I lived in Europe, I lived in Serbia, Bulgaria. So for one period of 4 years, I lived, I didn't visit ashram that much. But I connected to that divine form. So I tried to, I had an image, I made there was a very, very small room in the apartment. And I made it into like a small temple. And every day I would do chanting there. I would talk to God. I would pray whenever things were difficult. I would talk again, ask for help, surrender. Then during the day, I would keep talking, keep praying many, many times in a day. So like that, there was a connection developed. And I would experience sometimes that I would like go to a shopping mall for lunch during my work hours. And then in the shopping mall, I would be talking to God, and I would have the vision in my mind, and I would not even notice what the other people were doing around. I was just so feeling so good to be in connection with God, and then I didn't feel alone, even though I was 4 years in that country in Bulgaria, and there were not many spiritual seekers there also. So in the city where I lived, there was maybe one more seeker, and but so most of the time I was alone. But I didn't feel lonely. I didn't feel lonely because I felt like God is constantly with me. So it comes with efforts. So it is not like we just wait for it to happen. Sure, God will help us. God's grace is there. But to get God's grace, we have to do our efforts. So we take one step, and God takes 9 steps. Like that. So you keep increasing your efforts to pray, to express gratitude, to talk to God, in whatever form you have in your mind, whatever form you have devotion to, and they will help you. So I hope this helps everyone else with a similar obstacle. So, okay. Maria shared that she was feeling calm during the session of chanting. Very nice. And Steven says he's from Vancouver, so nice to see we have someone from Canada. So we can go to the next question, to Raghunath. I'm Raghu from Hyderabad, India. I'm doing mantra sadhana, mantra spiritual practice of Varahi Mata. I'm feeling better since starting this. I have small statues of Varahi Mata and Kal Bhairava Swami. Can I do this if it's not a problem? So it is very nice that you have this kind of devotion to that deity principle, and that you're feeling better since starting this. But one thing that we suggest in case of, I guess you're Hindu, so for Hindus, usually we chant the family deity, Kula Devata. So if you know what is your family deity, then you can do that chant. Otherwise, you can do the universal chant, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, which is a principle that is very active in today's times, and on the whole planet, and not just on the planet, but in the subtle dimensions as well. And this chant can help us a lot. So you can try to choose. If you want to do the family deity, but you don't know what the family deity it is, then you can chant Shri Kula Devataya Namaha. That is a chant that helps to lead us to someone who will tell us who is our family deity. And it happens. After some time, someone may say. Of course, in terms of devotion, you can keep the devotion to the deity that you're devoted to. But in terms of daily chanting, daily spiritual practice, we suggest better to do this chant. And we also suggest to do the Shri Gurudev Datta chant, which is a chant for ancestors. So our seekers who during the service of moderating these chats, they can paste the links to the chants that we have on our website, which you can download for free. You can put on your mobile and keep listening to it. Rachel, you have many questions. That is good. A lot of curiosity and desire. So, can you become higher spiritually even if everyone around me is negative? Yes. Whoever is around us doesn't matter. Because spiritual practice is inside. If everyone around us is a saint, doesn't mean we will progress. If everyone around us is, let's say, more negative, doesn't mean we cannot progress. Because ultimately, it is up to us. It is our spiritual practice. It is our journey. So definitely, it doesn't matter which country you're in, which situation you're in. Nothing matters. We can keep progressing if we do spiritual practice according to the 6 basic principles and as per guidance, which will help us. So if everyone around is negative, okay, we can take some protection, and chanting will give us that protection also. If we keep chanting, it creates like a bubble of divine consciousness around us, which helps us to get positivity, which prevents negativity from attacking us, from impacting us. Sorry. Another question, can I become a saint in this lifetime? Yes. Also yes. But it takes efforts. Huh? It is not something that comes simply and easily. We have to change a lot. We have to reduce impressions in our mind a lot. We have to offer ourselves a lot. And also we have to dissolve the mind. So at the level of a saint, the conscious mind is dissolved. The mind will resist also. Mind will not just silently say, okay, I will disappear. Mind has many impressions, so we have to go do spiritual practice that goes against the mind. But it is definitely possible, and we have different cases of spiritual seekers who have reached the level of saint or higher level like Sadguru. Saint is a 70%, mind is dissolved. Sadguru is 80%, intellect is dissolved. So we can definitely accomplish it, but it depends on our desire and on our efforts. Also, it depends what is in our destiny. Our path can be slower or faster, but we can definitely reach it. On this path, the path of which is called Guru Krupa Yoga, which is path of Guru's grace, Guru principle which guides us, one can progress very fast. So one can reach high levels in 10 years or so, 15 years, which is not a long time actually, considering what we would reach. Sometimes it takes lifetimes to reach such a level. But with this path, the desire, and in the current times, where we can progress faster, because it's more difficult, it is definitely possible. So you keep the desire, you keep asking guidance, you put into practice, and go further ahead. What to do if not sure which direction to go to? Very simple, ask guidance. So if you have any doubts, any questions, what to do, what not to do, we have seekers on the live chat who, on our website, who can answer questions. And also we have weekly meetings, weekly spiritual meetings, where every week we discuss about efforts, obstacles, and there is a section about questions and answers. So we will share also a link where you can register for those weekly meetings called satsangs. So I hope this answered all your questions, Rachel. It's very nice to see so many questions. So Digvijay Singh asked how to move from many to one. It is one principle of spirituality that we should go from many to one. I will explain a bit later. So Digvijay asked how to move from many to one. Over the years, without any one-to-one guidance, many practices are taken, leaving myself stranded. The issue is that I have great admiration for all the gurus and practices. So it is very good, Digvijay, that you have this admiration for all gurus and all practices. That shows your expansiveness. So open mind and faith in different practices. But to progress spiritually, we should choose one. Because it is like the same principle as when a person digs a well. So if a person digs 1 meter well, 1 meters, it will not come to water. Yeah? Even if he digs in 10 different places, 1 meter, it will not come to water. It's superficial. To come to water, you have to dig deep. And what does that mean? You have to pick one place to dig the well and put a lot of effort in it. So it is similar with spiritual practice. So we have to choose one path and follow that. Then we will get deeper and deeper into it and get more from it. It is same like in the worldly life. If someone says, 1 year I want to be a doctor, next year I want to be a lawyer, next year I want to be an architect, next year I want to be something else, I want to be a dancer, then he will not be an expert in any of them. So we have to focus on one and do efforts as per guidance, and then definitely we will get the benefit of that practice. Okay, so Maria asked, I have sins. If I do spiritual practice, can they be gone forever? So, sin is basically a demerit that we have collected due to our incorrect actions. As per the law of karma, it is a universal law of give and take that impacts everyone. And we all have done different things in this life and in the past lives also. So some of those actions were good, some of those actions were not good. The ones that are not good created demerits, and the ones that are good created merits. Demerits give us unhappiness, merits give us happiness. But both actually cause slow down our spiritual growth, our spiritual progress. So actually we should reduce both. This accumulated give and take account, or destiny, or what's popularly known as karma, we should reduce it. But how to reduce it? It is not like a bank account where I can just go pick up some money and pay it off. Karma is paid off through going through it and experiencing it. But it is also paid off with spiritual energy. So spiritual energy is the currency in the spiritual dimension. And if we collect spiritual energy, that energy goes to reduce our accumulated give and take account, accumulated demerits first, and then also merits. And then we are free from it, and we can come to a point where we don't have to get reincarnated, we don't have to get reborn, and we can keep progressing spiritually in the higher regions of the universe, spiritual regions. So don't worry about this, that, okay, I have sins, I have demerits. We all have it. And we have many cases of people who have, through spiritual practice, overcome different things, like illnesses, difficult situations in their life, with family, and so on. So just the solution is to do spiritual practice. So, and yes, they can be gone forever. We can cleanse our full accumulated account with spiritual practice. But for that we have to do more intense spiritual practice. It does not happen with mild spiritual practice. So slowly, we increase our spiritual practice. And it keeps reducing. Digvijay Singh asked, thank you, can you guide me to that one path? That you can see, I don't know which all paths you have tried. What I can share is to do it as per the 6 basic principles, like this one, going from any to one, going from gross to subtle. There is an article on our website which explains it. And I can also suggest that you start this practice of chanting. That will be one thing, and to stick to one chant for spiritual growth, plus another chant for ancestor problem, which is kind of like a treatment, like a medicine chant, just for a specific purpose. But the main chant is for spiritual growth. And you can try and see what you experience, if this will help you. So Effin shared, I got inspired by your bottle spray with holy water. So I tried to make it using camphor or holy ash. But my question, how long to change the water if I put it in a non-spiritually pure place like my bag for days? So I think Effin, we met in Indonesia, maybe it was some years ago, maybe 4 years ago, yeah? 3-4 years ago. I remember fondly being in Indonesia with all the seekers there, all the people we met in the lectures. So I actually have, like, just for everyone to know, I have a little bottle that I carry with me. I have like a set of healing things for protection and removing negativity. And one thing is incense from the incense ash from the SSRF incense sticks. This is what FN is referring to as holy ash. and also one small bottle, a spray bottle, where I put camphor, pure camphor, not this chemical camphor, but more this natural one. It's called Bhimseni camphor. So you can put 2-3 pieces inside and it's spray, and it's very refreshing. Whoever is able to make it, they can try. Of course, if no one is allergic to camphor, it can be tested. Spray a little bit and see what happens. And this helps us to be refreshed and removes negativity. So you don't have to worry about changing the water, because if you keep using it, the water gets used up. Then you have to bring water again. So as long as you feel some fragrance of it, the freshness of camphor, it means it's still working. So those camphor pieces, they may last 1 month, something like that, 2 months maybe, until you have to replace them, add new ones. And of course, keep it clean. You should not develop mold, algae, something like that. And don't worry keeping it in your bag, because camphor is very pure and it destroys negativity, so it will not get so affected. So you can keep it in your bag during the day, and then when you go back home, you can keep it. If you have an altar or a spiritually positive place in your house, you can keep it there. So, okay, many more questions. Lu Jia Zheng asked, is it normal for a seeker to have this feeling that I don't know how to grow further and further? How do we deal with the uncomfortable feeling of I don't know? I don't know can be an uncomfortable feeling, or I don't know can be a good feeling. See, someone who feels I know everything, I know what to do, I know how to guide myself, I know what is right, then if someone thinks like that, they may not progress that much. Because first of all, what we know is very limited. And second thing is, it's difficult to guide oneself. It is like someone saying, I will teach myself medicine. You know? I don't need a professor. So it just goes and tries different things, but it may not be the right thing to do. You may not understand why things are done, how they are done. So, like in school, we have professors, teachers. Someone shows us, guides us. So similarly in spirituality, I don't know is a good thing. Feeling I don't know opens us to receiving more. I don't know, I would like to know more. Please explain this to me. Please share what I should do. So like that, we can keep progressing faster. And it also helps to develop humility, or maintain humility. If we keep thinking, I know, then it can develop ego, and ego is an obstacle on the spiritual journey, on the spiritual path. So you can look at it as a good thing, that, okay, I don't know, but I will learn, I will ask. And you just keep asking, keep getting guidance. Ravi, if we have done mistakes in the past, how to come out of guilt of that? So, as shared earlier, I think, with Maria, when she asked about the sins, so all of us have made mistakes. So, it is good to feel remorse for the mistakes. It's good to feel, oh, this is not good, I shouldn't have done it. But then I will make sure not to repeat it, I will learn from it. So like that is remorse. Feeling guilty, feeling, for example, I'm no good, this is unforgivable, I will never be able to make up for it. That will not help us, that is not constructive. The first case is more constructive. We can ask forgiveness also, but to look at it constructively, what I can do about it. So we have this practice, with this methodology of personality defect removal, and inculcating virtues, where we do auto-suggestions. So you can do, and we write mistakes in the chart, daily chart. So you can write your mistake every day. You can write a couple of mistakes. There are 4 columns. There is a date, mistake, which defect it is, and solution. So we write solutions also to give the mind a proper perspective, how to think, how to do, and how to feel, and how to react. Yeah? Because there are mainly 4 types of mistakes. It's an action, thought, emotion, or reaction. So depending on that, we give a solution. So like that, we keep studying and seeing how we can improve. So that diary helps a lot, and it helps to give us an idea. We can look every couple of weeks, what is there? So we study if there is a pattern. So guilt usually is related to emotionalism or expectations from self. So we can work on it to reduce that and remain more constructive. But it is very good that you're focused on rectifying your mistakes. So that is a good thing. A majority of people, they don't notice so much their mistakes, or they don't feel to work on them. You have that desire, so that is good. That would be a feeling of seekership, seeking to change. Pai Wonder, Namaskar Pai Wonder, I remember you asked questions last week. Can I get rid of negative energy distress in this lifetime? I feel a lot of resistance to do spiritual practice. So definitely we can get rid of negative energy distress in this lifetime. Actually, for all of us, things will be a little bit easier in a few years. Negativity in the world will reduce a lot. We just have to go through this phase. But let's say our personal distress, personal attacks that we experience personally, we can also overcome. One example is my case. I've had negative energy attacks since childhood, and but then later when I was it started to intensify when I was 17 years old. So I had a lot of desire for spirituality and spiritual practice, spiritual growth, but on the other hand, a lot of attacks, a lot of obstacles from negative energies. So it was difficult. But I kept doing what needs to be done, taking remedies, and we have so many remedies. On our website you will find 15 different kinds of remedies you can take. The main one is like chanting, saltwater remedy, doing nyas with hands, removing black energy covering, different things like that. And with perseverance, efforts, spiritual emotion, relying on God, asking help, it is definitely possible to overcome. In my case, it was overcome. In case of many other spiritual seekers, it was overcome. So in your case, it can also be overcome. You just have to have some patience. I used to also be impatient. I used to feel, why I have this distress? It's not fair. Why so difficult? I don't want it. I don't want to fight. But at one point, I accepted it. I said, okay, this is what it is. I have to do what I need to do, and I have to develop this fighting spirit. So I worked on it, and after some time, it was overcome. That was some years ago, maybe around 8-10 years ago. Jai Hanuman, I was guided not to waste time, but I'm not able to do so. For example, waking up late, getting carried by mind's wish to relax or delay my worldly activities. How to overcome this? Sometimes I lack desire or feel very difficult to do so. So ups and downs are something common on the spiritual journey. As we progress spiritually, they reduce. So after we reach 60% spiritual level, then there is much more stability. There is not so much ups and downs. Until then, there are like fluctuations like this. Yeah. So we can just see that the periods where we do less reduce. So, for example, and we can take auto-suggestions to change our habits, our behavior. So, waking up late, Then we can do an autosuggestion. It's called an A1 autosuggestion. Here you have to keep in mind, I don't know what time do you go to bed, what time do you go to sleep. If we go to sleep late, we'll wake up late. So to try to go to bed before midnight. But if you go on time and you still cannot wake up late due to wanting to relax or delay, then you can take autosuggestion for this. Whenever I feel to stay in bed after waking up, I'll become aware of it. I will realize that I will say my time should be used to do spiritual practice. So I will promptly get out of bed and start with my day. This is one autosuggestion. Or the other one is about delaying activities. It's more procrastination. Here you can take an autosuggestion for that also. Whenever I want to postpone this and this activity, I'll become aware of it. I will realize that I should develop the habit of doing things promptly. So I will do this task. You have to specify which it is. It should be specific. So Prashant asked, what exactly Shivling is? So Shivling is, just to explain for others, it is like, not a statue, it's a symbol made out of stone or mercury or different metals, depending on the type, that is present in some temples. And it has a shape that it is one part going straight, and there is another part going in a circle with a, let's say, little entry at the end. So Shivling actually represents the Shiva principle, which is the principle of dissolution. So in that form, there is a science behind it. We have in some books explanation exactly why it's in that shape and all this. But that kind of shape attracts maximum divine principle of Shiva. So if we do some rituals for that symbol, then it activates and we can experience more of a Shiva principle. Everything has a certain shape, form, smell, taste. So different shapes attract different principles. So different colors also attract different principles. We can experience different things. For example, color pink is more about love, spiritual love, or color blue is more for devotion, like that. And there are different divine principles that are related to the colors, like blue is related to sustenance and so on. So they can imbibe some small, it's not enough just to wear a blue shirt and then get a lot of sustenance principle or to do spiritual practice, but it helps to bring a little bit of that principle. Okay, InTube has shared, Pranam, what are your views about Vasi Yoga? So Vasi Yoga is related to the breathing process. It's a practice where we activate the nadis, the channels of Kundalini, or the spiritual energy in our subtle body, which are connected to our chakras. And it flows in the breathing process. So it is a kind of pranayama, which is a breathing exercise. But that is as much as I know, because maybe there is some more information on the internet about that practice or that path. But one thing to share is that the principle of going gross to subtle, that applies to all spiritual practices. So any practices which are more physical are more gross in nature, more tangible. So they have less impact compared to practices which are more subtle. They have more impact and they help with faster spiritual growth. For example, pranayama, breathing exercise. It will help us to get some better health, better breathing, more energy, and a little bit to purify the mind. But it's very limited. It does not help so much in spiritual growth. It is much more much more beneficial and brings much more spiritual growth to do practices which are more subtle, like chanting, like on different paths, like a path of karma yoga, doing spiritual service, or doing a path of meditation, doing meditation. Comparably with those breathing exercises or yoga postures or things like that, which are more physical. They mainly purify the physical body and part of our energy body, like our vital energy body. It's called prana, or it's called chi in China. So I would suggest that you focus on the more subtle spiritual practices. They will help more in your spiritual journey, spiritual growth. Okay, if there are any more questions, I see there are many more questions from Rachel. We will come to it just to see if anyone else has any other questions. In the meantime, I will go through Rachel's questions. So let's see. I don't know if we'll be able to cover all of them, Rachel. So just look through which all are there. Okay, it's mostly related. Yeah, mostly related. You're having doubts whether you're on the right or wrong path, or what spiritual level you're at. So I think, as shared earlier in the session, you will see if you're on the right path based on the experiences you're having. So if there are experiences which help you to grow, help you to change, reduces thoughts, reduces our negative habits, negative impressions, and on the other hand, it increases qualities, increases calmness, increases stability, we get more understanding, then that means we're on the right path. But now sometimes we, on the spiritual journey, we may get some negative experiences also. It doesn't mean we're not on the right path. Because sometimes there are attacks from negative energy. So that many times we travel a lot. Yeah? So there are a few of us who travel around the world. We have, I don't know how many lectures we had in the last 2 years, maybe 200-300 lectures in 35 countries, almost 100 cities. And in many sessions, we do chanting, so people experience different things. And sometimes people experience pain through chanting also. Let's say pain in the chest or headache or things like that. That also is a good thing, because it shows where is the problem. It's part of the healing process. So it is not like that all the experiences we get have to be positive and only that is the right path. Sometimes there will be other things, obstacles. But the thing is that over time, am I getting better? Over time, am I experiencing more and more spiritual emotion, more and more faith, more and more calmness, all of those things, good things? Then they will tell us if we're on the right path. And about the spiritual level, here it is not so important what spiritual level we are at, because whatever level we are at, we have to make efforts. So it is the same for someone who is brand new in spiritual practice. It is the same to some of us who are 20 years in spiritual practice. We have to keep making efforts. Doesn't matter what level we are at. We have to keep going ahead. So whatever level I'm at now, this is not my end goal. I want to go to the final goal. And also, in terms of spiritual level, it is less important, because the most important thing in spiritual practice or spiritual growth is desire. Desire is 80% importance. One's spiritual level is 10% importance, and obstacles are 10% importance. So even if someone has a good spiritual level, but they don't have desire, they will stagnate, or they may reduce their level, but they will not make efforts. And someone who is at a lower spiritual level, then they make more efforts, more desire, then they will progress. They will progress faster, and they may also were higher than that other one who was having higher level, but he had no desire. So focus on that, on your desire to do spiritual practice, to put into practice, and to keep increasing it stepwise in quality and quantity. And you said that you had an awakening and you ran away, and will God forgive you? I don't know what it means that you ran away. But God always is there for us. So if we got scared by something, that we come back, no problem. God will continue to give us guidance and help and support. So, because God has no expectations. We as people, we have expectations. We expect how things should be, how others should be. God has zero expectations. He doesn't expect anything. God works as a principle of how to call it. He comes to us when we come to Him. So when we do spiritual practice, when we show desire, when we have spiritual emotion, then God helps us. So it doesn't matter what we did before. If now we change, we feel remorse, then definitely we will get forgiveness for what we have done. And there are many cases of spiritual seekers like that. There are many, many, many cases of people in the holy texts, stories of saints who used to do before even some bad things, but then later they did spiritual practice intensely. They overcame all of that and they reached higher spiritual levels. I think we have a few more minutes, 3 more minutes. It went quite fast. So, 2 questions. Monks asked, as parents, how should we teach children, I guess, not to be nonviolent? So here, one thing is we teach by example. That is important. So if we are getting angry, we are expressing it, saying bad things about others, taking some aggressive physical movements, something like that, then we give an example to our children. So we can say, oh, you should not be violent, but we do like that. Then it will have less impact. They will see how we are behaving. So one thing, the first thing is we work on ourselves. I'm not saying, I don't know your situation if it's there, but this is a general principle. We teach by example. And second thing is we can teach the child directly by explaining why, how, why it's important to be calm, not to have anger. And they can also do spiritual practice depending on their age. If they are under 6 years of age, then usually parent can chant for them. But after 6 years of age, they can start. 7 years of age, they can start some small chanting, 5 minutes, 10 minutes for them. It is a lot to sit sometimes, 10 minutes. And we can also do auto-suggestion for them. So, sorry, we cannot do auto. We can help them create a very simple auto-suggestion that we can repeat if they have this tendency to have some more aggressive behavior. So whenever for a child, it will be something very, very simple. Whenever I feel angry and I want to hurt my friend, I will realize that this will hurt him and I should be good. So I will calm down, I will pray, and I will chant. Something like that. Very, very simple. Okay, Rachel. I'm very happy to see that you got a lot of learning and that you're grateful. Also, Jay, happy to see that you're grateful and that this auto-suggestion will help. Auto-suggestion, just remember how it's done is you repeat 5 times in one session. You can take 2 minutes. You first make a prayer. That auto-suggestion goes in the subconscious mind. Then we chant 2 minutes to come to a state of relaxation. Then we repeat the sentence 5 times in our mind, and after that we express gratitude. That is one session. And like that we can do 3, 4, 5 sessions during the day for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks we can change the auto-suggestion for something else. Usually in 2 weeks we will see some progress, some improvement. And I think we're close to finishing. So we have one last question. It is from Digvijay. Working for poor people, children, in secular ways like education, can they be regarded as subtle practice? We have an article that explains very well the difference between social work and spiritual service. There is a difference. Spiritual service is more like a spiritual practice that helps us grow spiritually. Social work is it's social work. It's not spiritual practice, so it does not help us much in growing spiritually. It generates merits. One can gain some merits from it that we can experience later, some happiness due to those merits. But it's explained well on the website. Basically, in short, when we do social work, we help at the physical level, or sometimes psychological level also, but there is no spiritual factor behind it. We're not helping in a spiritual way. So when we help in a spiritual way, it is to teach people to do spiritual practice, to change, to grow. Then God helps, God's grace comes. Other things like helping someone to have more money, or even things like food and shelter, it is a noble work. It is needed, but it will not help that much in spiritual practice. It depends on where we are spiritually. If we are at the stage where we are ready to do spiritual practice and spiritual service, we should do that. If someone is more self-centered person, doesn't have anything to do with spirituality, then for them it is good to do social work. For them it will help them. It will help them to be more selfless, to reduce selfishness. But for someone who has the capacity to do spiritual, better to focus on spiritual service. That will also give us more bliss. During social work we can experience happiness, but during spiritual service we can experience bliss, spiritual happiness of the soul. And we can get divine consciousness. Because it's part of God's mission, divine mission. Divine mission is to uplift humanity, to bring positivity at a spiritual level. When that happens in the world, when the positivity increases, all other problems in the world get solved. The problem in today's times is not that we don't have enough social workers. There are millions of social workers. It is not the problem that, yes, there is inequalities, disbalance, all these things. But what is the root cause? The root cause is destiny. And destiny can only be overcome with spiritual means. So if people are to come out of it, they need spiritual practice. And the root cause, all the unrighteousness in society, all the negativity, is lacking of spirituality in society. So there are millions of social workers, but how many spiritual seekers are in the world, spreading spirituality, helping others to grow? Very less. So that is more of a need in today's time. And that is the only thing that will help change the world permanently and at the root level. So this is the session for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new, that the answers helped you to give you some direction, some clarity. We have these sessions every week. Next week will be another session. You can see on our website, and the seekers will put a link. And we also have daily chanting sessions, and they used to be at 4 p.m. Europe time, 8:30 India time, but I think we will change them to be at 5:30 Europe time, 10 p.m. India time, and East Coast, okay, we'll have to calculate, but you just check our events website and you will see the dates. And on our YouTube channel also, we publish on Facebook new live streams. And feel free to ask us questions in our live chat. And also, you can join our spiritual meetings on our events website. You go to our website, you click in the menu on events, and you can go there and you can see the weekly spiritual meetings. So I'm very happy to have had a chance to speak to all of you. I'm very grateful and wish you all the best in your efforts, that you get a lot of experiences, a lot of change, a lot of growth with God's grace. For this session, I express gratitude to God for all the protection, all the experiences we had, and all the guidance. Gratitude and namaskar.